Punk fashion, a revolution in style. Spiked jackets, ripped jeans, and an attitude that screams "F the system." Punk fashion is not just clothing, but it is a revolution. Born from rebellion and DIY spirit, punk style has shaped music, politics, and streetwear for decades. So what makes punk fashion so iconic? Welcome to the Beauty and Fashion channel. Today we dive into the raw, radical world of punk fashion, its origins, cultural impact, and how it continues to challenge norms even today. What are the origins of punk fashion? Punk fashion exploded in the mid-1970s in New York and London, fueled by anti-establishment rage, political unrest, economic hardship, raw music, and youth disillusionment. Punk style was born on the streets and in underground clubs. Its most iconic early influence came from New York punk, including the Ramones and Patti Smith, the British Sex Pistols, The Clash, and Boutique Sex, owned by Vivienne Westwood and Malcolm McLaren, which pushed bondage gear, tartan, and anarchic slogans. The look was raw, chaotic, and rebellious. What are the signature elements of punk style? Punk fashion was a visual scream about breaking rules and a rejection of beauty standards and consumer culture. Key elements included leather and denim jackets covered in patches and spikes, ripped clothing held together with safety pins, tartan trousers and kilt-inspired skirts, band tees and patches with aggressive political messages, combat boots and Doc Martens for stomping conformity, chains, studs, and metal accessories. Hair dyed in vibrant colors, often shaped into mohawks or liberty spikes. Everything was loud, deliberate, and often DIY. Do-it-yourself was not just a method, but it was a mantra. Punk subcultures around the world. Punk fashion was not uniform. It evolved differently across regions. UK punk was aggressive, gritty, and influenced by class struggle. US punk, especially in New York and Los Angeles, was leaner, influenced by skate and hardcore scenes. Japanese punk was hyper-stylized, merging with visual kei and street fashion. Latin American punk was political, often protesting dictatorship and inequality. Each scene has adapted the aesthetic to its own social struggles. Punk as political statement. More than a look, punk fashion was a weapon. It critiqued capitalism, nationalism, and conformity. Wearing bondage pants, anarchist symbols, or a spiked collar was not just a style. It was defiance. It questioned authority, gender norms, and traditional values. In many cases, punk wearers faced real risks: police harassment, school bans, or public abuse. And yet, they wore it anyway. What is punk's influence on mainstream fashion? Punk did not stay underground, but ironically, the anti-fashion of punk eventually inspired the very industry it rebelled against. Designers like Vivienne Westwood, Jean-Paul Gaultier, Alexander McQueen, and even Dior brought punk to the runway. Today, you see punk's DNA in streetwear, such as distressed denim, graphic tees, and chokers. Celeb style such as Billie Eilish's oversized punk vibe and MGK's tattooed rocker look. Haute couture, including luxury brands, adds studs, spikes, and rebellion to high-end pieces. The punk attitude lives on in grunge, goth, emo, and alternative fashion today. What was once subversive is now celebrated, but always with that edge of resistance. Punk today is a living legacy. Punk fashion has never really died, it just mutated. In the digital age, young punks express themselves through sustainable clothing, gender-fluid fashion, and handmade pieces shared across social media. Modern punk is not just visual, but it is about conscious consumption, radical identity, and creative resistance. As long as there is something to fight against, punk fashion will exist. Here are our final thoughts. Punk fashion is more than torn clothes and heavy boots. It is a visual language of rebellion, identity, and independence. If you are rocking it today, or are just inspired by its bold spirit, remember, punk is not a trend, it is a mindset. Express, resist, create. That is punk. Like, comment, and subscribe for more stories on fashion and its connection to culture and history that still shape the world we wear. You are beautiful.